games, mainly Cyberpunk 2077, including, and that word including is implying not limited to, MacPort, because you don't use the word including in this context if there isn't other stuff also going on. Now, this might just mean we'll see even more feature patches and ongoing updates in line with the third-party studio-developed patches 2.2 and 2.21 that we've recently received. Or it may be something more expansive, like, for example, a Switch 2 port. And here's a thought off the top of my head. It would be interesting if we could use the Switch 2's mouse mode Joy-Cons to play this first-person game the way it feels best. I'm going to come back to some more evidence from CDPR implying that this might actually be happening, but let's talk about what many consider the biggest challenge here, hardware power. We're used to thinking about the Switch in terms of being a low-power device that can't really do lots of AAA games very well, with a few good exceptions. But the Switch 2 is going to be a true generational leap. Cyberpunk 2077 is a demanding game, no doubt about that. Even for current gen systems, even 4 years after launch, many of us content creators still using it as a benchmark for performance testing. We see it all the time whenever one of those new PC handhelds come out. Cyberpunk is one of the 4 games we all test on. We must have a little context on that. Remember when they did the quote-unquote impossible port and released a shockingly playable port of The Witcher 3 on the current gen Switch? At the time, many thought it was way too ambitious. No way the Switch could do Witcher 3. Come on. Yet they made it work. Well, there were some compromises, but it was very, very playable and highly praised for the quality. The Switch 2 certainly has enough power for Cyberpunk, especially if it gets the optimization attention The Witcher 3 got. The NVIDIA Ampere-based GPU that we already know the Switch 2 will be using thanks to leaks, and we have literal photographs of the Switch 2's main board where we can see the chip. That architecture means the GPU power on hand will very likely be roughly in the ballpark of something like an NVIDIA RTX 3050 or even a 3060 GPU, or maybe 3060 mobile GPU if we're going to be a little bit more settled about it, but with the advantage of a few extra years of development on NVIDIA's machine learning trickery for DLSS upscaling, ray tracing, and frame gen. Because all that stuff is drivers and hardware working in concert. There's no doubt that the chip Nintendo are using, just like the one they used for the Switch 1, will be a customized form. So you combine that level of power on hand with the lack of Windows overhead and code that can be highly optimized for a single target hardware, unlike on PC of course, well, I think there's a damn good chance for it. At least that advancements in upscaling technology like NVIDIA's DLSS could be the absolute key to all of this. The Switch 2, I would bet on supporting some form of DLSS. It's basically a guarantee, given the architecture generation of the GPU that it's using. DLSS 2.0 would be my best guess. If I'm very lucky, even DLSS 3.0. And I've personally run Cyberpunk at decent presentation standards at 45 to 60 FPS, which is a really nicely playable place for it, on less powerful hardware and with Windows overhead. So I think an optimized Switch 2 port is very much in the realm of possible. And given CDPR's active push to keep the brand alive and active, I'd even venture that it is likely, not just possible. Why do I think it's likely? Well, let's talk more about that. The sales of Cyberpunk 2077.
Welcome her speak. Very well then. Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels, manifestations of disparity, elucidated by fire, burrow deep within me, retreating to a darkness beyond the reach of flame. Let them assume a new master, inhabiting ash, casting themselves upon new forms. Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels, manifestations of disparity, elucidated by fire, burrow deep within. Farewell, Ashen One. Mayst thou thy peace discover.
Ashen One.